Alright, welcome back. So now in this video I'll be talking briefly on freeze pane, the freeze pane functionality. And like I have here, freeze panes helps us to keep important data visible. So let me use this for an instance. Now imagine that we know that this is what I'm writing. I'm sure that okay, yeah, this is the full name, this is the job title, this is department, this is the business unit, and I know what I'm working on because of the header. But imagine you are working somewhere and you at the point you might get confused, especially with a large data set. You are confused as to what column this is. Is this research and development? Is it the job title or the department or what? Everything can just get confusing at times. And that's where freeze pane comes in. So basically, freeze pane, when you use freeze pane, it keeps this. You can use it for the header, this first row, and keeps it permanently there. That row 1 just remains visible. And you can also use it for the column. This column 1 remains visible. So even when you scroll to the left, excuse me, you can still see the first column, which is the staff ID. So now back to the slide. Let's read what we have. It says to access it, navigate to the View tab in the ribbon and select freeze panes from the available options. This locks selected rows or columns in place while you scroll through large data sets. Common use cases. It is used when scrolling through lengthy data tables, or it is used when keeping row identifiers visible, and when navigating wide spreadsheet. And number 3, most importantly, to maintain visibility of both row and column headers simultaneously. So now heading over to our spreadsheet view. This is the view from the ribbon. Initially we're on home. Now this is view, and to the left you can see freeze panes. So there are different options to this. When you click on it, it brings down the 3 different options. So this first one should actually do more of the work, but it could actually act funny at times when you have to use the first option. It says keep row and column visible at the same time. I mean, there are various reasons why it could malfunction. So let me select A2 or B. Alright, let me select B2 and just show you an example of what so literally it's meant to, as you can see, when I selected B, the header is actually frozen. Let's scroll to the left. Okay, that one is not frozen. It is the number that is frozen, which is not what we want. So that's why I said it could be very. So to remove the freeze, I click on unfreeze pane. Now let's try clicking on B2. Let's try to click on B2. So I think when we use that, you would have to, when I select this, it freezes the column above it and the row above it and the column before it. So I think it should work better now. So freeze panes now I can always scroll to the left. So even while I'm here, I see, okay, this is staff. Now let's assume that the first column is full name. Let me delete this temporarily. So now, so even if the number of columns are quite large, now where I am, I can easily say, okay, whose data is that? I can see the name instead of having to go to check. So no matter how far I go to the right, I can still see that, okay, whose exit date is this? This belongs to Luke Martin. And as well, while scrolling as well, I'm somewhere here, I can still understand that, okay, this is the column for business unit, this is for department. I can see everything. So while scrolling down and up, I can still find everything working, and I can still scroll to the left as well, and everything is still the way it is. So that is actually one of the options. But like I said, you have to understand how you select. So selecting, if I select here, it will probably give me something different from what I want. But selecting B2, it highlights the row above it and the column before it. So to remove that freezing, I just click back down on freeze pane and everything is gone. So you can as well, perhaps you don't want to select both. Maybe you don't want to freeze both row and column. We could just try the other options. This one only freeze the top row, and once I do that, you can see that it's there. But when I scroll to the right, that one is not frozen. To do this, to freeze first column as well, the first row is no longer frozen, but the first column is frozen here. but peradventure you want both of them to work at the same time, then we go for the first one. And right now it's not going to work well because I look at where I clicked here, so it has frozen all the rows above it. So you have to be very careful of where you click before you freeze. So we go back again once again. To freeze both row and column, I click on B2. It's going to freeze the rows above it, and the row above it, or rows above it, and the column before it. So if we do that now, we are going to have what we want, Now using the other tutorial data set, let's try the same thing for the other tutorial data set. Now, okay, first of all, I want to match this. I don't like how it's shifted to the center. So let's just merge this one to center, merge and center. All right, now. So now I want it in a way whereby when I scroll, this header is still there. So I think I'm going to use this one. Yes, if I use this one, I mean, if I decide to just if I decide to do the freeze row alone, it's going to freeze this first one, and that's not what we want to freeze. We want to freeze this one actually. So I think the best thing is to just freeze both first row and first column. So back to view, freeze panes, and I do the freeze pane. And now you can see everything is still. So peradventure this data set was 1,000, 10,000. This remains there, and the serial number also remains there. When I scroll to the left as well, you can see that it remains there as well. At least I can always see. So this, imagine this goes down to 100,000 lines, rows rather. I can always see the numbering, and I know that this is serial number, and I can always see whatever it is. Peradventure this is name of person or whatever. So that is just all about the freeze pane functionality. So now in the next video I'll be talking about the find and replace function in Excel.